Welcome to Berlin, Germany. This is IFA 2025. IFA stands for Innovation for All. You can think of it like one of Germany's biggest tech fairs really in existence. Gamescom's another one that just happened, I think, over in Cologne. But this is Berlin show, and we are here with Acer and Predator to show off some pretty sweet products. I want to mention a few things. Firstly, Predator is Acer's gaming division. So if you see Predator, obviously it's associated with Acer, and they make a ton of gaming products, desktops and laptops, and a few other things as well we're going to show you in this video. The other important point to make is that we've partnered with Intel for this one, so we want to show off some of the latest and best Intel gaming laptops and desktops that Predator has to offer. So to kick things off, it's very difficult not to cut in front of somebody filming or shooting photos. So we're going to move this way and probably kick things off with, I really want to do the desktop first because this thing is just an absolute beast. So they call it the Orion 7000, and it has an Intel Core Ultra 9 285K as well as an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5090. That probably speaks for itself for most of you. We want to show you up close what you get with the overall package. Now I know pre-builds aren't everyone's strong suit, but for those who just want a turnkey experience with a very high-end combination of hardware, the Orion 7000 is probably for you. They also have a 5000, which is a slightly lower spec desktop. It looks very similar to this if you're interested in that. We'll show you in a little bit, but this is the peak, the pinnacle. And of course, with the Intel Core Ultra 9 285K doing work up top, it's being water-cooled by a 360mm AIO and a very cool set of unified 120mm fans up top. Attached to that radiator, you can rest assured you'll have a very cool experience as well as a very quiet one. Core Ultra also improves the efficiency, which is especially important in these devices, so it can deliver elite performance at lower power consumption. Now you have to forgive me, I have my cheat sheet out. There are so many specs to memorize for so many different SKUs. I don't want to get anything wrong for you all. The first thing I want to show you, Tommy, if you can zoom in on that NVMe, you can spec the Orion 7000 with up to either 4 or 6 terabytes worth of storage, which is pretty awesome. That's good for like 1.5 Call of Duty titles. We've got a set of DDR5 here. This is 2 DIMMs. I believe 64 as spec, but you can spec it up to 128 if you're feeling spicy. I've never owned a 128 gig PC in my life, but you could today if you bought an Orion 7000. Now I just realized the system's off. It often goes into hibernate mode. Let me power it on for you guys to see the fans and the airflow up front. A very airflowy front panel, which is great. Of course, you're gonna need that cooling capacity for such a beefy combination of hardware.
Can we take this one?
Can we take this?
They won't notice.
I think they will notice, Tommy.
Actually, we can get discount because the panel's missing, Greg.
Yeah, where did we put that panel?
I hit it.
Okay, well, they're not getting it back. And this up here is what Predator calls their Cyclone X technology. This is a 360 variant. You can see that all 3 fans are encased in one single frame, and these small cutouts here are actually angled such that there's an increase in efficiency, an increase in the ability for this bracket to pull in air. So there's one linked to the radiator, which is fantastic, pun intended, and then another one up front as well with the same design. As you might expect, the Orion 7000 is not only outfitted phenomenally for gaming, 4K gaming and above, but also workstation stuff. So if you want to do content creation on this, Premiere Pro would run like an absolute dream, especially thanks to the 285K and its pretty powerful standalone integrated graphics processor. If you wanted to just use integrated graphics, it's not the end of the world, and it's fantastic for creative suites like Adobe. You get 24 cores there. I think 8 of those are performance, 16 efficiencies, and it turbos up to 5.6 or 7 gigahertz. Forgive me if I'm wrong, Intel. Somewhere in that ballpark, and it definitely belongs in the Orion 7000. In fact, the Orion 7000 is the system a lot of esports pros will compete with during global CS2 tournaments or Intel Extreme Masters. So this reinforces again the performance claim. This is a very high-end system. If the pros use it, you know it's good. Now this, I think, is one of the coolest pieces of tech at the entire show. This is the Predator Helios 18P AI, and this has an Intel Core Ultra 9 285HX with Intel V Pro. My cheat sheet is not open, all right? I got this. And it also has an RTX 5090 laptop grade GPU baked in. So not only do you get a beautiful screen, a nicely lit keyboard deck, and an honestly pretty aggressive looking design here. I love like the LEDs baked into the rear here. And then you also get LEDs up top. That's the Predator logo. It looks really good, but of course it's gonna pack a punch in pretty much any workload scenario you could think of. So gaming, obviously, not a problem at all for this device. Workstation stuff, whatever that even means. I mean, pretty much anything you want to do, like compute-wise, large language models, AI stuff, of course, all of that is well within reach of the Helios 18P AI. And one of the, I think, coolest features of this laptop is that you can spec this with up to 192 gigabytes of ECC RAM. That's 48 gigs per slot. And there are 4 slots in here, and the DRAM in here is actually removable as well. So it's configurable up to 192 if you can find 48 gig DIMMs in the wild. Good luck with that. But I do think that the prospect of that is very cool. I mean, just having anything over 100 gigs of RAM in any sort of portable device, let alone one with an 18-inch display like this, is just something else. It's funny, conveniently, we have a lot of specs on the screen that I did want to mention. Firstly, the 18-inch mini LED 4K display. So it is extremely color accurate and perfect for any sort of content creation. Adobe, Premiere, Photoshop, all of that will not only look very accurate, beautiful on this display, but it will run very well, of course, thanks to the silicon baked in. This also has a dual display mode, so you can either run it in 4K 120 or Full HD 1080p 240 hertz. So if you want like a faster, higher refresh rate gaming experience, you could drop to 1080p, but maybe if you want to use the 4K display for content creation, you could drop the refresh rate to 120. No one's going to care, at a much higher resolution. And lastly, Predator's 6th gen Aeroblade 3D fans. And these are the world's thinnest metal blades. And you're not going to be able to see it too well here, Tommy. I'm going to try to prop the laptop up a bit. But those super thin fan blades are right inside these grills here. And because they are so thin, they are more efficient. They can pull more air in, which of course is crucial for really high-end Intel Core Ultra 9 CPU and a counterpart from NVIDIA. There's a lot to love about the Predator Helios 18P AI. I've said that name a few times now, so I've got it down pat. There are other models as well, like 16-inch versions, and they all, of course, scale the silicon accordingly, but this is the cream of the crop right here from Predator, and it is just a sight to behold. A few other things I think you will find interesting here in the Acer suite. I didn't expect to see something like this at the event, but I've got to say I am blown away. So this is the Acer Spatial Labs View 27, and it's actually a 3D monitor. Hear me out. I know, 3D, what is this, 2010? Like 3D TVs, those are out the window. That's yesteryear, right? This technology is fantastic. So Acer have actually baked in 2 cameras. They're low light sensitive cameras, so this will work even if your room is pitch black. And they track your eye movements, even though multiple frames are being generated every second, right? It's using the game engine code and the details of whatever environment you're in to determine what needs to be spaced further away and what needs to be spaced right in front of you. For example, these menu icons on the left and right, those don't move. Those look like they're flat on the screen. But if I look at the center, at this main character, I feel like I have to reach my hand in a good 12 to 16 inches. I have no idea what that is in centimeters. Sorry, Europe, but a good distance, to say the least, to reach the character. And that depth is just, I'm getting stabbed to death. I'm dead. It is a phenomenal thing to witness in person. And I know the camera's not going to do it justice. It's going to look absolutely awful because there's only one camera, and depending on your perspective, you might not be center screen. Remember, the cameras are just going to focus on the main user. We also have spatial speakers as well, and those track your movements in tandem with the eye tracking in order to give you more of like a 3D sound experience if you don't want to use headphones. I know a lot of gamers use headphones, but this is a really sweet addition if you're into just using standalone speakers. And all around, I mean, it is just pure immersion. I don't know how else to describe this. I want one. And yes, if you're wondering, eye fatigue really isn't an issue here. If it was, this probably wouldn't be for sale. It's something that it takes only maybe 5 or 10 seconds to really work out. Your brain has to figure out what it's actually looking at, because it really is unlike anything I've personally seen. If you think of like a Nintendo 3DS or something, it's a very primitive version of what this is. This is perfected thanks to the eye tracking, which a device like that didn't have. And that's what makes this, again, such a versatile setup for, I think, over 200 games that they have worked into the support for this panel so far. And speaking of displays, this is the Predator Z57A. Now, some specs for you. Mini LED technology. It is essentially 2 4K panels meshed together. So the pixel count is 7680 by 2160. And in order to drive a display like this, obviously you have to have pretty high-end hardware. Of course, with the help of DLSS and things, it kind of balances out if you have something like a 5080 or 5090, like is in this Orion 5000. This is not the correct card for that, but that's what's hooked up here. It's driving it just fine, super fluid. We're well over 100 FPS from what I can tell here. This thing just wraps all the way around you, 1000 R curve, so it is truly immersive without the 3D technology. It has been an absolute blast to visit Berlin, Germany. It's my first time here in Berlin. Even though my wife is German, I've never been this far north, so very appreciative of Predator and Intel for sending us up here for IFA 2025. And it's about that time to head back home. So I'll just do that then. Oh yeah, Acer makes e-scooters now. See ya.